Good evening. We are so glad to have you with us this evening. I have some outstanding guests for you. I'm Tom Waters, your host, and I have with me right now Marilyn Davis. She's the museum director for the Pahrump Valley Museum and Historical Society, and we have so much that's going on in Pahrump. A lot of times people forget about our museum. We forget it's even there, but it is there, and there's so much. Oh, Marilyn's going to tell us all about it and the things that have been happening. We read about it in the paper. We pass by there and we see things going on. We see cars here, and we just wonder what's going on inside. Well, that's why Marilyn is here this evening to tell us everything that's going on in the Pahrump Valley Museum. Marilyn, first thing I want to do is welcome you to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
It's been a long time since you've been here.
Yeah.
And we definitely need to, first of all, tell us what's been going on with this fantastic museum.
Lots of people. Lots of people. That's one of my things I'm very proud about is that last year we had 8,800 people go through our museum from 18 different countries and every single state.
Repeat that again, because I don't think everybody really got the grasp and the emphasis on exactly how important this is.
Okay, so we had 8,800 people that went through our museum last year, 18 different countries, and every single state we had somebody.
Wow. That says a lot. That shows the interest in our museum. Now, we have to say this, and no shame on any of you, but if you haven't been there, you're not in this number. Mm-hmm. So get in this number and find out what's happening in this museum. Okay, Marilyn, go ahead.
Whew. So we have all sorts of different information for mining, farming, ranching, growing cotton, the train room, that people can come in and spend hours looking at everything. What we have, and what my very favorite is, and I don't know when you were here, when I was here the last time, our train room.
Oh,
and
no.
We have an HO scale, a diorama of the Las Vegas to Tonopah run. That means it's active if we can do that, but it goes through Rhyolite and Beatty during the early 1900s.
Oh, man.
It is fabulous, and we are so lucky to have it. It was all donated by the Pahrump Model Railroad Club.
Okay.
They built it, and then we had artists that are part of our art group that came in and painted all the landscaping and the clouds and everything. And if you have not come in to see our train room, you are really missing something wonderful.
Well, I'm going to have to get back over there. Now, I haven't been there for a while. I pass by it quite often, and I need now to go ahead and stop in and say hi to Marilyn once again, and then look around at all the things that I've missed. But before we go on to tell you more about the museum, I want to ask her questions, because I know that if I wanted to speak at the museum, I can make arrangements for that. So I want to ask her, how do you get scheduled to have speakers? Because we have outstanding speakers that come every now and then. So Marilyn, how often do they come, and how do you get scheduled to be a speaker, and what are the requirements?
Normally, I schedule speakers. We haven't done them this past year only because our road was so torn up. It was all dirt, and sometimes they were blocking our entrance. So we're going to start again.
Before you go on, I was going to ask the question how the construction on Basin impacted the people coming in and out. And I think you've answered that, but go right on.
Yeah, it was hard. Okay. So we try to do either lectures or music, and generally it's the second Saturday in the afternoon.
Okay.
Now, our first thing we did was Halloween. Saturday night, we did a laser show.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was a fundraiser. And the tickets were $10, minimal. And it was amazing. We had 2 shows, and we sold out both of the shows. So we want to continue doing some fundraisers like that.
Okay.
But when we do a lecture, it's free.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to get people who know something about the area or who have something to help people who are moving in, what's going on, how, we do have the garden club that meets. If you're new and you want to learn what to plant in the desert.
Okay.
And we also have the well owner group, and they have lectures. They come the first Wednesday of every month.
And these are people that have wells at their house.
If you have a private well. And
Private well
that's
owners.
$40 to be a part of that. They come, they'll test your water, make sure you don't have any arsenic or anything, and where your static water level. But they also have lectures about how to maintain your well and your pump and what you need to do when you have a well, if you've never had a well before.
And these are free lectures.
And they're free lectures. Mm-hmm.
So if you are a well owner and you want more information, stop by the museum and talk to Marilyn and say, look, this is something I'm interested in. And she has so many connections. She can go ahead and put you in the right direction for whatever it is you need.
That's true.
And now that Basin is somewhat clear as far as all the construction, I know they have still working on the taping or the putting the lines in.
That they have to do that. They also put in drainage pipe, and so that's still open, and they have to fill all that back in. So they're not really completely done.
Okay.
But it's a lot better.
Oh,
It's a lot better. It was really tough for the 10 months that we were under construction. And it did hurt us. It hurt them. It hurt every business on that street, like Circle K, Floyd's. It hurt everybody because people could not get to it. But and Death Valley hurt us too.
And I do have to say, I want to thank the commissioners for getting that done. I know they took a lot of hits on that. They took complaints from the business owners as well as the residents, like me, who had to drive down Basin. Yeah. So we were complaining, but they did something different this time in that they saved a lot of money, a lot of county money in doing it, but it pushed a lot of other projects back. This is according to the commissioners, and yeah, they're looking at trying to do things differently, but the main thing is to get the businesses back open and get our museum back open. That was the key.
Well, we didn't really close.
Right.
We just had certain days that people couldn't get in or get out, but it dissuaded people from coming down Basin. They took Wilson or other roads.
Absolutely.
But you got to come to the museum. You need to come to the museum and visit me too.
I know. And I'm going to get there. So after you watch us tonight and you find out and you make a plan on when you're going to come and visit the museum, the one thing I like is the fact that, as Marilyn said earlier about how many visitors have come in, they ask each person to sign in when you come in and say where you're from and why you're there. So they have a record so that she can give statistics just like she just did. I think it's very important. And I'm going to ask her to give those statistics again so that you know exactly what's going on and you can be part of this number by coming by and visiting the museum. Okay,
so last year, 8,804 people signed in. That was from every single state and from 18 different countries.
18 different countries, wow. Yeah. So people all around the world are looking at our museum in every state.
In every state.
Every state. And we've got 50 states, guys. So from every state, somebody has come into the Pahrump Valley Museum. And I think it's outstanding. And we have a director that's really interested in what's going on. She's really interested in the visitors that come to visit. And she's interested in you finding out more about the museum and the area. Is this all of Nevada or just the Pahrump Valley or what?
It's probably not just Pahrump, but the southern area. I have to include things happening at Death Valley or Shoshone. Our train, of course, runs across Nye County. Our train exhibit, which I love. So it kind of encompasses the whole southern area.
Okay.
But and the other thing I love about our museum, everything's donated. We don't buy anything. People give us what we have, and that just absolutely amazes me.
Now, I know we're running out of time in this session, but some of the questions I'm going to have for Marilyn in the next session is, do they have anything for veterans? Do they have anything that maybe your particular interests, what are you interested in? And if we have something like that. So I'm going to ask her to cover maybe some different areas, and we'll be talking more in depth in the next session. But just on the surface, you have things for veterans.
I do.
You have things for minors.
I do.
You have things for well owners.
I do.
You have so many other things
Test
as well.
site.
Test site.
Big
Wow.
test site exhibit.
Okay. So in the next session, I'm going to ask that you go through all of those and explain exactly what you have in each of those areas and how it's going to interest the visitors when they come in. And do they get to see it all in one day, or do they have to come back because it is so vast?
They can do it in one day.
They can do it in one day.
They can do it in one day.
If they can do it in one day, and you also have a log cabin there.
A house built out of railroad ties. I have two of them.
A house built out of railroad ties. She's going to talk about that as well. Now, that's something I was interested in when I went to see it the first time, and I was amazed. So we're going to talk about all of those things and so much more. So we're going to ask you to come back to our next session, and Marilyn has so much more to tell you about the Pahrump Valley Museum. So come on back. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. I have my next guest. My next guest is Kiana McKelvin, and she is from Nye Communities Coalition, and she's a Substance Prevention Project Coordinator. And we're going to tell you what that's all about because that's a long title. It's very, very important. And even before we get into that, I just want to say, Kiana, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We are so glad to have you here. And with most of the people can't see is, and I haven't talked to her about this at all, is the fact that Kiana is an expectant mom.
Very pregnant.
She's an expectant mom. And when do you expect to deliver?
I'm scheduled for a cesarean on the 27th of next month.
Oh, me. Okay. Right after Christmas.
Right after Christmas. Christmas baby. Well, not August. Close. That's a nice present.
Okay, that sounds great. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. We're so proud of her. We're going to talk about how long she's been doing this and what it is she's doing and what her title really means, because it's so important. The overall subject that we're talking about is very, very important. And so many of you, I know if you're over 30, you probably don't know a lot of things about drugs, the drugs that we're going to be talking about, like I don't know. And so I'm going to be asking her some questions because I need to know that for myself, and I hope you need to know it for yourself as well. So Kiana, first of all, what is your background?
My background was fitness, holistic healing, health, and life coaching. It was a windy road to get to substance misuse prevention, I tell you. So yeah, I worked with a lot of clients. I noticed where people held on to trauma in the body, and it really came full circle to mental health and healthy coping mechanisms and unhealthy coping mechanisms, which led me to substance misuse prevention.
And she's here. And she's here to inform you of all the things that she's learned and all the things that she's working on. So in your title, Substance Prevention Project Coordinator, what does that really entail?
I'm a community health worker. I don't do the normal duties of a community health worker. My focus is on prevention, and more specifically, opioid prevention and fentanyl awareness and overdose awareness. So, which means I coordinate education, I coordinate naloxone. Narcan training is the brand name of the medicine. So that's to prevent overdose, so that someone in an active overdose can receive a little bit of time for the EMS to arrive so they can get help and survive.
So the big question is, with all the information that you've just given us, if somebody, I'm talking about maybe a church or an organization, if they wanted to have this training for their members, what do they do?
Just give me a call, or they can email me directly at kiana@nycc.org. My phone number there is 775-727-9970, extension 256. And as you can see, I will be out of commission for a few weeks, but we do have other people in place that will be able to help you in my absence.
But if they wanted to schedule it, say now or even after you're back at work, all they do is call that number.
Yes, that's all they
Call
need to do
that
is call that
number and
number.
say, look, we're interested in learning more about prevention, substance prevention.
Yes.
And we'd like somebody that's knowledgeable to come over and talk to us.
Absolutely. I would love to. And I can even perform these via Zoom. So if scheduling is an issue, we can use the technology that we have been given and get it done.
I think this is fantastic, and I said earlier, it's ignorance. It's ignorance more than anything else, because once we learn something, the ignorance is gone. But as long as we don't know, that's okay, because we can learn. And that's why we have people like Kiana to tell us more about the dangers of substance abuse and substance prevention of causing death or other injuries. So that's why we're here today. So you can learn, and all you have to do is call her, but she's got so much more information for you. Tell us more about exactly what it is you're here to tell us about today.
So my main focus is for opioid awareness, and more specifically fentanyl and xylazine awareness, because it's not just misuse as to somebody is intentionally abusing a prescription. Unfortunately, fentanyl has been found in 42% of the pills tested from the DEA. In 2022, they confiscated 59.6 million pills laced with fentanyl.
Wow.
And what is that? What is fentanyl? I didn't even know what fentanyl was until 2 years ago. So basically, it is a very, very concentrated, potent opioid, about 100 times more potent than morphine, and just a small amount. I compare it to Lincoln's beard on a penny. Just a small amount can cause an overdose reaction. So while this was something that was manufactured from the pharmaceutical companies and prescribed, this is prescribed to people that are in severe disabling pain, like just out of surgery. It's very well monitored by professionals, or prescribed to people in hospice on like the very last moments of their life. So what's been happening is that illicit drug distributors are putting this into other substances for profit margin. It's super concentrated, which means it's cheap and it can go a long way and they can make more money. So unfortunately, the lives of people that are affected is not in consideration when they're doing these things. There's a hashtag online every 11 minutes, and you can research that. Every 11 minutes in America, someone dies from an opioid overdose. So that's pretty sad news. And like the information and the education, it can be preventable. Most of these things happen by somebody starting off saying she thought she was taking a Percocet, or they thought they were smoking vape THC out of a vape, and it was laced with fentanyl. So that's the main thing, is we want to get the awareness out there that it's not just, somebody that is in the spirals of addiction that can be affected by this. Somebody with back pain, just trying to get through the day, can take a pill from somebody and they don't know what's in there.
You know, when you mentioned about the morphine and how much stronger this was than morphine, I remember having taken morphine. I had already told Kiana I've never used any illegal drugs. But I think in Vietnam, when I got blown off the airplane and cracked my spine, they gave me morphine to ease the pain. So we understand what morphine did. And I didn't like the feeling of morphine because it takes away, it just makes you feel weird. And I didn't like that at all. But I didn't like the pain either.
Yeah,
So
sure.
you look at that. But when you talk about fentanyl, it's deadly. And I don't know anything else to say about it except do everything you can to avoid it.
And it actually, when initially it was developed, it was used a lot, and it probably still is, I can't say for sure, in the military. If you're in the middle of nowhere and you get a limb shot off, it's super concentrated. They can deliver it to you. It's super effective, super fast, and it got the job done. But that's a totally different scenario by somebody that is very trained to do what they
Yes.
do.
You know, we have a lot of veterans in our area, and the previous guest mentioned the number about 9,000. So we have a lot of veterans and a lot of wartime veterans, whether it's the Gulf War, Vietnam War, or that doesn't matter. If you're going through some pain because of anything and the VA is giving you opioids, those are things we need to look at and how to keep from ODing on those.
Yes, so this is a we problem, and this is the message. So we want to provide as many people out there in the community with naloxone, because you can save anybody's life. It may not be somebody that you know, and you happen to carry naloxone in your backpack or your purse, and that person can live to see another day to get the help that they need.
How is that administered?
Nasally. They do have injections. We do not provide the injections. We do have the nasal distribution. It's it's just like a, like a allergy or whatever, just boop, right up there. So you don't, it's not super hard. You don't have to think figure out you're doing anything wrong. It's super easy to administer. So it's just a little nasal plunger.
Okay, and then you just inhale it and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as she said, how would somebody get that to carry it in their backpack and make sure they have it handy?
Just give us a call. We'll give you a quick training. It doesn't take too much time. We try and make it easy and painless as possible. And we provide you the medicine. It's all free.
This is fantastic. This is information that we don't always provide, but it's information that's truly, truly necessary. And when you call Kiana and you say, look, I don't know about all these drugs. I don't know how to do this or that, but she's here to help. That's why she's here. And we want to make sure you get this information so that maybe you can save a life. You never know what's going to happen. And like she said, sometimes it's by accident that somebody takes these drugs, but they're there. And once it's done, it's done.
Yes, unfortunately.
We want to make sure you get that. So be sure, call Kiana and let her know, look, I'm interested in getting the training. I'm interested in getting the drug. I want to save somebody's life. And more so, I want to know so that I can save my own life or the life of a family member. You want to be prepared for all of this. We want you to come back for the next session because Kiana has so much more information for you to make sure you know about substance prevention. So come back and join us for the next session. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. I still have Marilyn Davis with us. She's the museum director for the Pahrump Valley Museum and Historical Society. And I just wanted to ask her, I know we covered a lot in the first session, but Marilyn, what is your background?
My background is paralegal. I've been a paralegal, but it's not a lot of fun.
Okay.
So when the museum needed a clerk, I said I would love to do that. And I have been with the museum for 10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
10 years of telling people about what's going on in southern Nevada and in the Pahrump Valley and Nye County. Okay. So what else do you have in the museum? We've covered some of the things, but I know, let's talk about the veteran stuff first. Because I know they have a lot of veterans out there, and they say, Tom, you don't talk enough about veterans. So let's hit the veterans first. What do you have for veterans?
Well, and I agree. We have over 9,000 veterans in our town. We are a Purple Heart town,
Yes.
which is wonderful. It's amazing to me. So our veterans section, we have uniforms from every different one of the branches.
Okay.
We have information. We have things from World War I, World War II, Vietnam. We have a lot of Vietnam. I have a Purple Heart that the family gave up. I have a model of the Enola Gay. Just things that mean a lot to the history of
Yes.
our country and our veterans. And I think we're safe in Pahrump because we do have all these wonderful people. And I believe they're still here to protect us. So that's important to put that out there.
Okay, veterans, you got to get over to the museum.
Yep. Got
Okay.
to come visit, come see what we have. And if you want to donate something, bring it in. Let's see what we can do.
Outstanding. I know when veterans come to me and they'll ask, well, Tom, I have this or I have that. And I said, contact Marilyn at the museum first. See if they can use it. If they can't, then we'll find out what we can do with it. But like she said, they've got the exhibit there. We've got to see it.
Definitely. So some of the other things we have?
Yes.
Well, when you first walk in, I like to tell people a little bit about Pahrump and about the area and about the fact they grew cotton here. At one point, this was all cotton fields, and we were very profitable.
Okay.
And gosh, I walk up and down the aisles with my head. You go in our back room, we have pictures from the test site and what they did. We also have, and we are the only ones that have the information on Yucca Mountain Nuclear Waste Repository, which never happened. They never went through with it. It got stopped. But it was a lot of money that went into it. And what it is was that 39 states have nuclear reactors, and the waste needs to come and be stored more properly than in a tank or a pond outside the different cities. We have mining. People don't know. Nevada's rich in mining. And believe it or not, the Pahrump Museum owns a mine. It was given to us. The Johnny Mine was given to the Pahrump Museum.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, so we have that.
I'm learning too, guys.
We have all sorts of interesting things. One of my favorite things, and I'm wearing purple, we have a very large Brazilian amethyst geode that was given to us.
And what is that?
A geode is when you crack it open, it has all the amethyst inside. This is probably, I would say, maybe 5 feet tall.
Wow.
Yeah. And the family, when the gentleman passed away, the family had to come from another country, didn't want to take it back, so they gave us. And the thing's very valuable, and it's beautiful. Everybody loves it.
Now, I have to ask this big question.
Okay.
When you come into the museum, because say I'm walking in, I have no idea of what I want to see, but I give you some indication of what I'm interested in. Do you then give me a guided tour or just let me loose?
Most of the time I'll let you loose because you might be interested in something and you'll see something else that you'll
Gotcha.
go, oh man, I didn't know they had that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I like to let people wander. If you ask me a question about a specific thing, then I will go and we can look at it or talk about it. But,
oh, beautiful.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if you're in a group and you want to bring a group of people in, we will do a little talk. And the schools, I will do a tour with the children through the different cases and what everything is.
Okay.
I do have to remind people we are a nonprofit, and so donations are always welcome.
You heard that? and that's what it's all about.
Yes.
So let's continue to support them in every way we can. Okay, what else do you have at the museum?
Let's see, what else do I have? Everybody has a little something different. And so I get told, oh, like you, I love the railroad tie houses. Or I love the fact that the movie Mars Attacks was filmed in the Pahrump area. We have the mask and the costume.
Wow.
That was a crazy, amazing people. I've never seen it.
Okay.
But everybody who's seen it, they love it. And we've had other movies also. Cameras. Everybody likes all the old cameras, the movie cameras. There's all sorts of different things that interest people. Right now, we have buildings outside. They took a little hit during the storm 2 years ago, but we have the schoolhouse from the 40s, the little red schoolhouse. We have the Pahrump store from the early 1900s that, and the two-bedroom railroad tie house that was on the Bowman property. There's lots to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Lots to see.
Okay.
What else? What other questions?
Anything else? I know you've talked about the two houses, the railroad tie houses. People have got to see that. But you have, besides the other buildings and talking about the test site, there's so many other things in the museum.
One of the things that I'm looking forward to, that we're working on as a new project, is a resource library. A lot of people are doing their genealogy, or they want to look at what happened here, or just read about the West. And so we're working on a library that we will have of the genealogy information.
Great. We do have a society here in Pahrump.
Yes, and they meet at
Okay.
the museum. They meet on the third Wednesday at 2:00.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about them, and this sounds ideal.
It is, and we had other areas, and our local library, they've kind of stepped away from the genealogy, so that's why we decided to pick it up and have that information available for them. Some of the other, I know you kind of asked, what's going to happen? We have an exhibit that we're so excited, and I can't say what it is, but it's got a female persona. The person, it's going to be amazing. It's just working out all the logistics, but a little bit different.
Any idea of when you're going to bring that into fruition?
Hopefully we'll have it by January is what we're looking at. It's working with the other part of the exhibit to get it there and get everything to us.
I'm not an inquisitive person, so I don't look at things like that. But I am interested in what's going to happen here. So I'm going to stay with Marilyn and keep on at least through January, and then see exactly what this is. And all of you should be doing exactly the same thing. This is something that's so interesting to our entire community.
Yes, it is.
And this is our museum, and we have to support it. And like Marilyn said, they take all kinds of donations. So when you go through, be willing to leave something for them so they can keep on doing all the things that they're doing, and even the things that they're planning. And if you have any questions, you can always contact Marilyn. We have the phone number on the screen. Be sure to copy it down. Write down her name. You were talking about Marilyn Davis. So when you go in and say, hi, Marilyn, I saw you on TV, and I'm interested in whatever your interest is. And she's there to help you.
And we're at the museum Tuesday through Sunday, 9 to 5. We have Monday is our one day that we're closed. We're on Basin, 401 East Basin Avenue, if you don't know that. Even though you've probably driven by, I wonder what that is. It's the museum. It's got the American flag and the Nevada flag. And if you don't want to make a donation, we have a great gift shop. We have jewelry, we have books, we have a lot of alien things. Everybody asks about aliens, so we now have aliens. Do some Christmas shopping, because you're going to find things in our gift shop that you're not going to find at Walmart.
Oh, perfect. And we're
So,
coming up on Christmas,
Yes,
so
we
this is the perfect time to do that. When you finish watching this show this evening, tomorrow, the next day, go out and say, I plan to visit the museum. So I can go back and tell my friends exactly what I saw and encourage others to come and support the museum as well.
yep, that's what we have to do. That's what keeps the doors open. And we love people coming in.
Okay.
We love sharing the history.
I think it's just outstanding. And the fact that we're there, the fact that Marilyn is there, the fact that they have all of this information just sitting there, not only for the residents, but for visitors, the students who need to know so much about our area and just what has happened in the past. That's what the museum is all about. And Marilyn, like she says, she's been there 10 years.
10 years.
And she can give you all of this information. We don't want to lose any of it. And the only way to do that is to have someone like you come and visit and then tell others about it.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to be open the day after Thanksgiving. So when your family comes and you've eaten Thursday and you need to find something to do, come into the museum.
Oh, that's even better. Okay.
Absolutely.
On that day off when most people are doing nothing, they can go to the museum.
Absolutely. And we
Well-
love to have them.
Well, I'm going to say I am so thankful Marilyn came tonight to tell us all about the museum. This is the Pahrump Valley Museum and Historical Society. She's been there, she's the director, and she's looking for you to come in and visit. So Marilyn, thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
I really appreciated this. Thank you, and come back and see us in a few minutes because we have another guest for you. Welcome back for our final session. I always hate to say that because that means we're winding down. But I have Kiana McKelvin with me. She is the Substance Prevention Project Coordinator for Nye Communities Coalition. And she had so much information in the previous session where she was talking about trying to stay away from drugs, but if something happens, what you need to do. And so prevention is the key. So Kiana, in addition to what you gave us in the last session, what are you going to tell us about this session?
Well, the key points I want people to take away is that it's not just heavy drug users that are at risk. These things are put into vapes. So if you have somebody that gets a vape from somebody on the street that doesn't get it from a dispensary, they're at risk. If you purchase medication online, there's nobody regulating that. You can be at risk. So just removing the stigma of what they think somebody that overdoses looks like, and even how addiction gets started. It's very easy. It's not nobody goes out and says, I want to be addicted to drugs. It's something that happens chemically in the brain. And if you're prescribed something, addiction can stem from a toothache. In fact, they don't do it so much now, providing opioids for teeth extractions, but before they did.
Okay.
So with that being said, there are things to look out for. There's fentanyl awareness. They're putting fentanyl into counterfeit pills. The DEA confiscated about 16,000 pounds, a little over 16,000 pounds of pills laced with fentanyl in 2022. Okay. And okay, we're talking pounds there, right? So then 13,000 pounds. And so 1 kilogram of fentanyl can kill 500,000 people. And just put that, into perspective. They're also putting xylazine in pills now. So what xylazine is, and there are other substances, not just pills. It could be anything. It could be cocaine, it could be methamphetamines, it could be THC. It's profit margin is what they're trying to do. So they realize that the illicit drug manufacturers realize that, hey, we're killing our customers. Let's kind of counterbalances with xylazine. And what that is a cattle and horse tranquilizer. So it does not, unfortunately, it does not respond to Narcan. So you may not bring the person out of their sleep or their coma because it is a tranquilizer. But the Narcan will, it will have the effect that it needs to have on the opioid receptors, which is what you want because you want them breathing. But yeah, so xylazine is just going to knock them out, and then they have, the possibility of overdose. So that gets into a whole other slew of dangers where if somebody's sitting next to a puddle, they get tranquilized and then just head first into a puddle, well, they can drown. Not to mention all the other factors that could happen to them, assault, robbery, whatever.
But you say this is an animal tranquilizer, and just for money, they're mixing it with what else?
Anything. It's been found in meth, it's been found in cocaine, it's been found in vapes. There's nothing, it's been found in illicit Adderall.
So how do you avoid this?
Well, we do provide testing strips, so that's great. We have fentanyl testing strips and xylazine testing strips. Nothing's 100%, but you can pretty much see if something is laced with something. So just give us a call. We'll provide a training, provide the naloxone and the testing strips for you, free of charge. But I think the main thing is awareness. Make sure your children don't take pills from anybody. They may have the worst headache in the world, but they don't know where that came from.
This is so important. It's so important. And I am so glad that Kiana took the time to come and talk to you this evening, because we're losing people throughout our town, throughout our county, throughout our nation, and we're losing people all the time. And to have something that's so preventable, if you have any questions about anything, call Kiana. Call her and let her know, look, first of all, we like the training. And she's already stated that she's willing to do the training, even by Zoom if necessary. And then we talk about the testing, the test kits, and so on, providing anything. Everything is free of charge to you. Somebody had to pay for it, but you don't have to pay for it. So contact her, get this information. It could help the people that you're around. It could help you, your family. But it's there, it's available, and we definitely need to take advantage of that. So Kiana, in the fact that you're doing this, how do you feel as far as what you've accomplished so far?
Well, my part is a small part in the coalition. So I think it's beautiful that we all work together to provide resources for mental health, for any resource that you may need. Addiction is a slippery slope, and it doesn't happen, it's not intentional. And so come see us. We can provide at least the information that you need to get help. Our motto per se is it's harm reduction. So it's not anybody's job to judge or change people. We just want to provide the information that they need to live another day.
Now we have all these churches out there, and we have all these organizations that are doing everything they can to protect our young people. You also need to protect some of your older people as well, and this is a way of doing it, to find out more and more about drugs, what they do to you, what they do to the human body. And like Kiana said, nobody goes out and says, hey, I want to be addicted to drugs. But it happens. And so without being a judge and jury, we just want to help somebody. And that's why she's here today. So
you mentioned the elderly. That's important too, because they may forget that they took their pill and then just accidentally take too much. So it's better to not need it and have it than to not have it and need it, for sure.
That's another point for our community. We have an elderly community, and we need to take care of each other. And one way of doing that is to find out more about what Kiana is offering. She's offering the training, she's offering the equipment, she's offering everything you need to save a life. So definitely take advantage of it. Kiana, tell us more about the overall thing that Nye Communities Coalition is trying to do with this program.
With this program, we wanted as much naloxone, which is the actual name of the medicine. The brand name is Narcan. We want as much of it out there as possible. You never know when you're going to run into a situation where it is life or death. And we just want to get prevention education out there, especially to the youth. I was a teenager at once. You know, we all thought we were invincible.
Yes, we were.
Never going to happen to me. You know, it's not, well, why would it be in this vape? Or why would this happen, you know? And nobody is indestructible, and it can happen. So that's what we really want to make sure that people are aware of what is out there so that we can protect ourselves, our friends, and our family. And if you know somebody that's struggling with substance misuse, please contact us, and we can provide resources to the help that they can for recovery.
What would you recommend to somebody to say, if there are drugs available for whatever reason, how do you ensure that it's safe drugs that you're taking?
It's safe? Well, I would get it from the pharmacy for sure. So that's the safest thing, is to make sure that whatever your prescriptions are coming from the pharmaceutical company themselves. It is dangerous to order prescriptions online. I know during COVID things were hard, and it was hard to get some medications into the pharmacy, especially in the rurals. And people were desperate, so they were going online, and that there's nobody regulating these companies. So there's no way of knowing what you're getting. We do have the strips available, so that is one thing. You can test it, but just if something's prescribed to you, know where it's coming from. Because you're safe you're safe at the pharmacy, but not so much anywhere else.
So you have the strips. What do these strips do, and how do you use that?
The strips are fairly easy. They look there's two methods. It's about 4 ounces of water, like a shot glass, and then you can take a little amount. So if it's in a pill form, you got to crush it up, and it's the amount equivalent to Lincoln's beard. Just put it in there, stir it up a little bit, and there's a strip that goes into the water, and it kind of looks like a pregnancy test. It's going to have 1 line or 2, and the directions, we do provide the directions. It's going to tell you nothing's 100%, but it's going to most likely tell you if it is laced with fentanyl. And we have xylazine strips as well. It can tell you if it's laced with xylazine.
This is fantastic. Be sure to contact Kiana. Let her know, look, I'm interested in preventing anything happening to family, friends, people in my community, people that I know. I'm interested in the training and anything else. So give her a call. We've had her number on the screen many times. Give her a call. Let her know you're interested. And let's get rid of this so that we don't have people dying on our watch. Kiana, I just want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming. And wish you the best with the baby. I know everything's going to go good. And we'll be looking to have you back again, because we need to talk about this one more time in the future.
Great. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you.